Yes, you've seen for yourself, Escalates is a front. It's one of a dozen small airlines.
In the previous episode of 9 Bodies in a Mexican Morgue, tensions were high as Carlos, Kevin, and Sonia hiked up a steep hill to set up an ELT, hoping for a helicopter to rescue them from the crash site. However, a mysterious killer had been lurking around, stabbing Carlos and sabotaging the ELT. The motives behind the killings began to surface. Drugs hidden on the plane were the real treasure, and someone was eliminating the survivors to protect this valuable cargo. But in this episode, we dive deeper into the investigation, the dangerous secrets surrounding the crash, and the complicated relationships among the survivors. Welcome back to Your Nerdy Show. I'm your host, Spoiler Master. Let's break down everything that went down in 9 Bodies in a Mexican Morgue, Episode 4, and try to unravel the mystery behind the murders and drug trade.
I think I should pair up with Zach, you or Kevin. That's a good way to end up with a knife in the back.
Claire and Cora's tense encounter. Episode 4 opens with a dramatic scene set in Reynosa, Mexico, where Cora, the managing director of Aero Alex and the airline behind the crashed plane, meets with Claire and Frank from the Federal Aviation Administration. Cora reports to the FAA that the crash occurred in Mexican airspace, but Aero Alex is an American-owned company, leading to the involvement of both the FAA and Mexican authorities. The main focus of Claire's investigation is Octavio, the pilot involved in the crash. He had been suspended from his duties due to substance abuse allegations, yet Aero Alex chose to rehire him, putting him in a position of danger. Cora's explanation for hiring Octavio, that the company believed he deserved a second chance, seems suspicious. It becomes clear that the real reason may have been less about redemption and more about manipulating a vulnerable person into taking a dangerous flight. A flight that ended with the crash, and it seems far more going on than just an accident. This scene also hints at deeper corruption within the airline, and Claire's investigation is only beginning to uncover more unsettling truths.
Someone here wants to kill us, and it's not just a question of who.
Tensions among the survivors. Back at the crash site, the survivors are on edge. Kevin and Dan in particular get into a heated argument when Kevin questions Dan about his prison tattoos. Tensions run high between the survivors, and Sonia and Zack are left to try and figure out if Kevin could have been responsible for sabotaging the ELT. Zack, ever the pragmatic one, theorizes that someone might have unplugged the ELT to delay any rescue efforts, but Sonia isn't convinced. Meanwhile, Lisa reveals that someone has stolen the bullets from her rifle, leaving only one behind. Suspicion begins to build among the survivors, with everyone looking over their shoulder. Lisa, in a rare moment of vulnerability, confides in Sonia about her own suspicions, particularly about Zack, whom she believes has been acting suspiciously. Lisa's investigation into Zack's activities adds yet another layer to the growing paranoia. However, before they can discuss things further, a torrential downpour forces everyone to take shelter inside the plane.
Yesterday, when Carlos was gone, Zack snuck into the jungle.
The discovery of drugs. As the survivors huddle inside the wreckage, the group begins to notice the first signs of something truly dangerous. Kevin complains about the cramped and uncomfortable conditions inside the plane, but Sonia soon spots something that changes everything. The plane's roof, previously intact, starts leaking. As Zack investigates the cause of the leak, he uncovers a hidden stash of drugs. The previously teased drug shipment from the earlier episode is finally confirmed, with Zack quickly calculating the immense value of the drugs stashed inside the plane. This discovery confirms that Aero Alex was more than just an airline. It was a front for drug smuggling. Someone had been transporting these drugs between Guatemala and the United States, and the survivors were now caught in the middle of a deadly scheme. It becomes clear that whoever is behind the killings is trying to protect this illicit cargo, eliminating anyone who might expose the operation or try to take the drugs for themselves. As if the tension among the survivors wasn't already thick enough, Lisa realizes that Amy has wandered off into the jungle, putting herself at risk. In a rare moment of unity, the group decides to go after Amy and bring her back to safety before something terrible happens. What follows next is a shocking twist. Lisa finds Amy, but standing in front of her is the killer wearing Carlos's luchador mask and a rain poncho. It's a chilling visual nod to classic whodunit films, as the killer stands poised to strike. Lisa bravely confronts the masked killer, holding them at gunpoint, but things quickly take a dark turn. As Amy runs off to get help, the killer chokes Lisa to death with her own gun, turning what seemed like a moment of hope into tragedy.
You motherfucker! Drop the knife, throw it away from you.
Suspicions fall on Zack. The next morning, as the survivors gather to discuss the events of the previous night, Sonia brings up a topic that everyone has been avoiding: Zack. She points out that Lisa had been keeping track of Zack's secret activities, and now, after her death, there's a growing belief that Zack may be involved in the killings. Sonia reveals that Lisa had found a gun, a satellite phone, and Zack's wallet hidden in a secret spot. She accuses Zack of being the one behind the killings, suggesting that he may be the drug peddler trying to silence the survivors to keep the operation under wraps. Zack, however, vehemently denies the accusations, insisting that he isn't a killer. He admits to taking out the bullets from Lisa's rifle, but only to prevent anyone from getting hurt. In a desperate attempt to prove his innocence, Zack reveals that he's a DEA agent who has been investigating Arrow Alex for its role in the drug trade. He explains that someone is framing him to cover up their involvement in the smuggling operation, but when Zack tries to show the group his ID, it's missing from his wallet, and his claims begin to ring hollow. No one trusts him, and his fate takes a grim turn when Dan knocks him out, suspecting that he's been lying the whole time.
Because you had the way out of here in your pocket.
Tell us that, what is the code?
I don't know it.
Kevin interrogates Zack. As the survivors struggle to figure out who the real killer is, they decide to interrogate Zack. Kevin takes it upon himself to torture Zack for the code to the satellite phone, believing that Zack is withholding crucial information. Kevin's frustration grows as Zack remains silent, leading him to take increasingly violent measures. Meanwhile, Sonia, Amy, and Dan work on fixing the ELT, only to find that it has been disconnected. Sonia reconnects it, hoping to send a distress signal that will finally bring help. During all of this, Dan becomes suspicious of Kevin and Sonia. He suggests that either of them could have sabotaged the ELT when no one was looking, allowing the killer to eliminate the survivors one by one. It's a reasonable theory, but it doesn't explain why the killer didn't destroy the ELT completely. Could the killer be planning to use it later, or is there some other reason they left it intact?
It's been the two of us from the start. I've always been there for you, Sonia.
If we were on the same side, then you...
Claire's discovery. Back in the DEA headquarters, Claire and Frank are deep into their investigation. Claire's boss, David Malik, reveals that they received a distress signal from the ELT 26 minutes ago, indicating that Zack is alive. Claire is clearly relieved to know that Zack is still out there, and she's determined to track down the survivors and bring Zack home. However, there's a complication. The DEA is not on good terms with Mexico, so Claire can't officially get involved in the search. Undeterred, Claire seems ready to take matters into her own hands and find Zack, regardless of the consequences. We also learn more about Zack's personal life. Claire has a daughter named Lucy, and she's struggling to explain her husband's absence to their babysitter, Mariana. As she tries to navigate this difficult conversation, the tension only mounts, as Claire knows that time is running out to save Zack.
Jesus Christ, why don't you just tell me?
A chilling end. The episode ends on a cliffhanger as someone approaches Zack with a broken piece of glass. It's unclear whether this person intends to kill Zack or free him, but the suspense is palpable. Many fans speculate that this person could be Sonia, who has had a change of heart after seeing Zack endure the brutal interrogation. Perhaps she's decided to help him, believing that he is telling the truth and is not the killer. But is Zack really innocent, or is he hiding something even darker? In the final moments of the episode, we also see a glimpse of Claire, who is desperately searching for answers. With the mystery surrounding Zack's involvement in the drug operation still unsolved, it's clear that the show is setting up for an explosive next episode. Could Zack be the key to unraveling the entire conspiracy, or is he a pawn in someone else's deadly game? As the credits roll, viewers are left with more questions than answers. What happens next? Will the survivors uncover the full truth behind the crash and the drugs? And who is the mysterious killer who seems to be lurking around every corner?
If we don't make contact with someone out there, then we're all gonna die here, all of us.
Our nerdy thoughts. 9 Bodies in a Mexican Morgue continues to keep us on the edge of our seats. The drama, mystery, and high-stakes tension are only escalating as the survivors try to navigate the dangerous world of drug smuggling. betrayal, and murder. With new revelations about Zack's true identity, the question of who can be trusted becomes even more complicated. As we wait for the next episode, one thing's for certain: the mysteries surrounding the crash and the killer are far from over, and we can't wait to see what happens next.
Want to die here?
No, I want to get as far away from here as humanly possible. I want to go...